Hello and welcome to this Ease Live tutorial video. I am Sig, I am the UX lead at Ease Live, and in this video I will be giving you a quick overview of the platform, our tools, and just how to get around. And then in future videos we will take more of a deep dive into each tool, how to create awesome interactive broadcast graphics, and how to produce broadcasts, all that stuff. But for now, we are simply here on the landing page for our fresh tutorials account that we've created for the purpose of recording these videos. There's not much here, but we will create our first project in a moment. You'll notice you are given a couple options for getting started quickly. You can also just hide this box if you're done with it. And then further down here, you have a project list. And that's pretty much it. You can also invite people to the account, or you can invite people to individual projects if you wish. We can look at that in a moment. For now, we'll create our first project, a project being a collection of programs and a graphics package, essentially. So typically, if you have a show that runs over however many programs, that is one project that contains all the programs within that show and its graphics package. So we will create our new project now. We'll just call it my first project. Why not? Go ahead and create. That'll set up analytics for the project. Here we go. So here we have an empty project. You will see in the menu over here, you have a menu option for programs, where you get a list of your programs. Each new project is created with a sample program. We can create our own here as well. We'll do that in a moment. There's an analytics view. Right now we have 0 viewers, but here you will get all your analytics, device breakdowns, locations, per minute viewership, engagement rates, all that stuff. And then under people here, you can invite people to the project. And then project settings, don't particularly need to worry about that. But if you ever wish to delete a project, you can do that down here, but we'll leave that for a future video. So in our first project, like I mentioned, we have programs. We have the sample program that is automatically created. Let's go ahead and create a new program just to show what that looks like. So we will call this, just keeping with our theme, my first program. Programs can be created automatically, of course. We can set up an importer service for creating programs based on a data source. For example, if you have recurring shows, you want to create new shows every week, you don't have to do this manually. That is kind of up to you and your workflow. The stream URL is the video stream for this program. It is not critical for the end user, because when this is integrated either into a video player or you're using this in a video mixer, you will bring in your video stream there separately, but the stream URL is useful for when you're producing programs. You can have it running in the background in our production tool, which we call Cockpit. And you can give your program a start time and end time. This is recommended because then in the production tool, you will have a timeline from the start time to the end time. If you leave it open, you won't be able to navigate around the program, but it is not required. So we'll just leave those open for now. Save our changes. There we go, our first program. Here we have 3 buttons. You can produce the program in Cockpit, our production tool. You can preview it, and edit just takes it back to the previous screen, essentially. We will show you we'll go into the Cockpit tool in a minute, but first I want to show you Studio. So Studio, you can see there's a link here to Studio. I'll go back to the project page just to not confuse you. Studio is our design tool, and your graphics package that you design in here is shared for the entire project, not just a program. But we will open that up now, and we will initialize a design. There we go, create new design. Click that. And here we are. So now we are in what we call Studio. This is our design tool for designing graphics. It is similar to a lot of other design tools in some sense. UI wise, you might recognize the general setup. We have a sort of column area on the left here for selecting things, where we have our layers, we have our components and data sources, which we'll get into in future videos. On the right here, we have the properties panel. So whatever you have selected, you will typically make changes to it over here on the right. And we also have an animations panel, which we will also get into in future videos. We have a scene here. When you're designing graphics in Ease Live, things are divided into scenes. So typically something like a lower third will be a scene. Your score bug might be a scene, that kind of thing. And they just layer on top of each other when it's all being rendered. And when you're happy with your package, you save up here. You can publish versions. We have version control, but for now we'll just stick to the draft version. And you can preview your design directly in here, or you can click the produce button to open the Cockpit tool directly from here. If we do that now, you see we have our program list here, sample program and my first program. We'll just open this one. They are essentially identical. But here we are jumping into Cockpit, and this is our Cockpit tool. So here, again, we'll get into more details and stuff in future videos. Here we have an event rundown. We have some properties that we'll look at in a moment. And you have a live window and a preview window. Live window being what your viewers can actually see, and preview being where you can preview your graphics before taking them on air. So just to quickly show what that actually looks like, let's just create a scene here. Create a new layer. Let's imagine that this is a lower third. I will kind of skip over a lot of stuff right now, but I just want to show you how this connects, how these tools connect together. So here we just add a little box. You can imagine that's the lower third. We will define what we call an event for controlling that scene. And we will tell it to use that event to essentially show and hide this scene here. And once again, I'm skipping through stuff here, but it just shows you that when we now refresh, we will see it's called data source here. That is the default name for an event, but we'll see that now in our event list over here. And if we click air now, there we go, it goes on air. So that's how quickly you can create stuff. And of course, this was a very, very simple example, but hopefully that gives you a very, very superficial idea of sort of how things work together here. You create stuff in Studio, and you even hook up your what we call data sources. All the logic for your graphics are all defined here. This is all done in one tool. And once you hit that save button, it is ready. If you're using, typically, if you're using the version control feature, you'll be publishing stuff before it shows up here. But since we haven't published anything, it will just show us the draft. So I think that's enough for this particular video. And in future videos, we will take a more deep dive into each of the things I have shown you so far.